So what did the final hour bring for us? Well, the final hour was made up of Seth Rollins taking on Aleister Black, as previously announced, in what was a pretty decent 10-minute match. The match was about 10 minutes, not including the commercial break, where these guys were working a pretty stiff style matchup. I thought their matchup was very, very good until the goofy WWE disqualification ending to a match. Aleister Black and Seth Rollins, like I said at the beginning of this program, was that if you give them time, they'll steal the show. And they were just about to do that. The fans were hot. The fans were loving it. The action was quick. It was crazy. It was exciting. It was what we've been waiting to see from Seth Rollins since 2018. We haven't gotten that Seth Rollins type of match in a while. He's been pretty complacent and boring, if you ask me, in terms of his matchups since he won the WWE World Title at last year. He never was able to live up to the expectations that we had set for him. But on this night, him and Aleister were having a hell of a match. And so they're having their match, and obviously a disqualification occurs. Aleister Black is beaten down by the AOP, Seth Rollins, and the Monday Night Messiah. In comes the Viking Raiders for the save. The Viking Raiders are also beaten down. In comes the Street Profits to save the Viking Raiders. And now we've got ourselves an all-out brawl. What do you guess happens? We've got ourselves your typical stupid 8-man tag match. Look, had Monday Night Raw just ended with Seth Rollins taking on Aleister Black in a 40-minute main event, and then maybe, look, a goofy ending occurs where Kevin Owens costs Seth Rollins the match, I would have been okay with that. At least we would have gotten a 40-minute one-on-one battle, 40-minute one-on-one fight. Instead, we ended up having a 20 to 30-minute 8-man tag team match, which it wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad, but it was just something we've seen constantly on a WWE show, where a matchup starts one-on-one, someone interferes, and then it turns into a tag team match. 6-man tag, 8-man tag, 2-on-2 tag. This was no surprise, and this was no different than every other single week of pro wrestling. Continuing with their stupid formula. Also, the question I have is, what happened to Aleister Black after he took the beating from the Monday Night Messiah? He completely disappeared. He was nowhere to be found after that. We just cut to our 8-man tag match where all 8 men worked really, really hard in this match. And the Monday Night Messiah picked up a victory, which I was actually really happy about. Instead of them losing and making the heels look stupid, as WWE tends to constantly do on a weekly basis, the heels looked dominant. They looked incredible tonight. They picked up the victory over the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. Seth Rollins stomped Montez Ford as he entered the ring after off of a big dive, landed the stomp, hit the 1-2-3. Out comes Kevin Owens to attack Seth Rollins, but he is also beaten down by the Monday Night Messiah, and he is stomped several times, 3 times by Seth Rollins, leaving him unconscious in the ring and leaving Seth and the Monday Night Messiah to stand tall. That's how you end the Raw. You end the Raw on a high note. You end the Raw with the heels looking like the dominant faction. And that's what we needed to establish the Monday Night Messiah, that they were a force to be reckoned with. Not a joke. We've had enough jokes of heels. The OC is the joke. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode are a joke on SmackDown. Whoever Baron Corbin teams up with is always a joke on SmackDown. The Undisputed Era, when they're not being treated like a joke, sometimes they're dominant. But that's what AEW does right. The Inner Circle is a dominant faction. And tonight's Raw ended like last week's AEW Dynamite. The Monday Night Messiah attacked Kevin Owens at the beginning of the show, the top of the hour. The Monday Night Messiah interrupted Aleister Black in his dressing room. And then the Monday Night Messiah attacked Aleister Black. And then the Monday Night Messiah defeated the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. And then the Monday Night Messiah destroyed Kevin Owens again to close the show. Monday Night Raw was all about the Monday Night Messiah and establishing them as the dominant heel faction on Raw, the force to be reckoned with. That's how we put people over, and that's how we put factions over. That is how the WWE needs to continue to do things. Make people look dominant. The same way they made Shayna Baszler look dominant in the Elimination Chamber match. That's my Raw recap for today. I know I left out the Paul Heyman interview, but Paul Heyman's interviews are always the same. He talks about how his client is the most dominant WWE champion, how he's destroyed, how he took over the WWE for 2 years before going and conquered the UFC, and then he came back and he's been dominant for the last 6 years. We know the story. It's the same old rinse, repeat. Brock is going to beat you. Drew McIntyre, don't worry about it. You stand no chance. And then Drew McIntyre comes back with a retort saying that we'll see what happens at Mania when I hit you with the Claymore kick. Basic rub and tug. We know what we're getting. That's all it is. Spoiler alert, you're going to lose. The other guy responds, no, I'm not. Basic, classic promo shit. And Monday Night Raw ended with the heels victorious, the crowd booing. That's how you want to end things. Sending the crowd home, not unhappy, but sending the crowd home feeling something rather than feeling nothing. Next week should be a good Raw. You got Stone Cold Steve Austin making his appearance on 316 Day, and you got a contract signing between AJ Styles and Undertaker, which I'm really looking forward to seeing.